Hey, thank you for having some interest in a place to talk. This coming Sunday, Sunday, April the 19th, we'll be continuing our series. We've been almost, oh my goodness, I guess it's been over a year now that we've been in our red letter series. We're looking at only the red letters. We're looking at what Jesus said, what was recorded, what we're told that Jesus said. Over the year, we're looking at all these red letters. This coming Sunday, April the 19th, we'll be in Matthew chapter 6, verses 22 through 23. So it's just two verses in Matthew. You say, Josh, what is a place to talk all about? What do y'all do? Why would I show up there? Well, if you're looking for a place, um, I don't know, if you're looking for what you think of as a typical church, a place to talk is probably not for you. If you're looking for a place where you can come and you can have a conversation. You can think about current events. You can think about faith. You can think about Jesus. What does it all mean? How does it all work together? Then maybe a place to talk is the right place for you. We're a very small community that comes together on a weekly basis, and we just think through how can we be better followers of Jesus? How can we follow Jesus without embarrassing God? How can we serve our community? How can we serve the people around us in such a way that will help us just be the best, healthiest people we can possibly be? So Matthew chapter 6, verse 22 and 23, we'll be discussing this passage this coming Sunday, April the 19th. The eye is the lamp of the body. So then, if your eye is clear, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. So if the light that is in you is darkness, how great is the darkness? It's an interesting passage. That's New American Standard Version. I think the I think the King James uses the term one. If your eye is one, I'm doing that from memory. Forgive me if that's not right. But anyway, you get the idea. The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eye is clear, your whole body will be full of light. So we're thinking this Sunday about what does that mean? The eye is the lamp of the body. I guess it means that the eye is what gives us the ability to see. What do lamps do? They kind of allow us to look at everything else out there. I wonder how that works. I haven't really taken time to think about the scientific nature of how all this is, but it's something to do with lights. The light bounces off and it comes back to our eye and it helps us to make out shapes and images. And it's interesting. Without the eye, what would we know? What would we be? What would we be thinking about? What would we have to do? What do your eyes do? The eyes, it's like one of our five senses, obviously, but the eyes probably seem to be the most. Would it be the most powerful of our senses, or the most impacting of our senses? I don't know if a person is blind, then what comes into their mind is their what they hear and what they feel and what they taste. But when we see, it kind of controls a lot of things. How many of you turn the closed caption on your TV? So maybe your eyes do a better job of catching what your ears might have missed. I do, not all the time, but sometimes we definitely. I think the Apple TV might be set up to where you can choose this function to where if you back up a few seconds, then that time it will turn on the closed caption automatically. Am I crazy about that? I think it's a pretty good idea. I think that that's what it does. And so if you miss something and you go back to hear it again, it also gives you that ability to see it again too in the closed caption. Um, be careful, little eyes, what you see. We've heard that as kids. Be careful, little eyes, what you see. I can't sing. I'm not a singer, so I shouldn't even pretend that. But you got to be careful what you look at. Are you careful with what you see? What does a lamp do? I believe a few, I don't know, 10 days or so ago. If you're watching this, it was just in the past week. Um, our current administration posted something online that was a murder. And I haven't seen it. There were a lot of warnings about not watching it. Did you watch it? Are you careful? Are you careful what your eyes see? Um, I I probably will go watch it because it's concerning to me. It's concerning to me what we use to 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 motivate and manipulate and control others. What does a lamp do? It lights up the room. It lights up the space. It allows you to see things that you hadn't seen before. If your eye is clear, your whole body will be full of light. What does that mean? If you keep your eyes clear, in other words, if you're what I don't know what that means. There's a product called Clear Eyes that comes to my mind when I think of this. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. I guess that means if we're constantly looking at things that are bad, it will fill us with what? Does it distort our vision? Does it take away our ability to see other things? Can we be I have friends that have basically said they don't look at political stuff. They don't watch the news. They try to stay completely out of that. And I think that that's a bad practice. I think that we I think that we should look at the news. We should see these things, not allow them to control us and to dominate our thinking, but we need to see what's going on out there. We need to we need to shine a light by sharing what's going on out there and calling for people to stand up against what's going on. But other people want to say, no, 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 I just don't want to see it. I don't want to know about it at all. Is that the better way to go? What do you think? So if the light that is in you is darkness, how great is the darkness? I've never thought about darkness being great. Let's ask some other questions this Sunday at A Place to Talk. What do you watch on TV, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and how does it light you up? Does it fire you up with anger? Does it light you up with joy? Does it light you up with laughter? Do you send it to friends? Is it good? Is it bad? Are you monitoring how often you use it? Do you control what you watch on TV, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, etc., or are you somewhat controlled by the media and the algorithms? Is that dangerous? Do we need to be careful about that? All political sides believe the other side watches the wrong media. The left calls out Fox News and the right calls out CNN or, some other channel. How do we keep from falling victim to media manipulation? Are you careful to flip the channels around and watch all of it? Or are you one of those people that just turn it all off? Which is right? Which is better? What's the healthier way for us to live? Do you just say, I don't watch Fox News or CNN. I get all of my news from TikTok, or I get all of my news from YouTube Shorts or from YouTube videos? Is that better? Is that worse? Some people are going, oh, that's horrible, and other people are going, well, wait a minute. There are honest, sincere journalists out there on YouTube that do a better job than the big media conglomerates. What's right? Is there a more lit alternative? Is ignoring politics the answer? Is there another way to walk in the light? Those are things we're going to talk about this Sunday at A Place to Talk. You say, Josh, are you not going to give us any answers? Not really in this video, because I use my community like A Place to Talk to bounce thoughts off of, to think through these things together. I also listen to the Spirit of God to the best I can. I'm kind of a mystic. I believe that God does speak. Sometimes I have my doubts, like, God, are you speaking to anybody? And sometimes I think God clearly, clearly speaks. What about you? Do you think God's always speaking, or do you think maybe there are times you feel like God's just silent on subjects and you wish he would speak, God, he or she would speak more? I personally believe we as a country country and world have been on a darker path for 8 to 10 years. You say, Josh, why in 8 to 10 years? I'm not gonna hide the fact that I think that something very, very destructive and divisive happened uh, with with the United States presidents. Um, I think when Obama was elected, there was this racist rage that kind of came up. It was a sign. Obama's election was a sign that we had grown some in our racist tendencies. Some of that had had dissipated some, but then his presidency just kind of brought up a lot of. I think it kind of brought back white nationalism and this group of, or this community of people that wanted, I don't know, that were calling for negative, bad racism, racist kind of things. And then and then the next president was kind of, um I, I think that Trump has leaned into people with racist tendencies, and I think that whether it was suppressed, unknown racism in people's, deep down in people's subconscious, that kind of empowered that side, that direction. Now you say, Josh, it sounds like you're a Democrat. No, dear God, no. Please don't misunderstand. I think that the Democratic and Republican two-party system's dangerous and it's horrible. You say, Josh, does that mean you're a Republican? No, no, no. There's another alternative. There's other options. You say, what does that mean? It means I personally think that the two-party system is a challenge and it's a problem, and we have to somehow look past the little r and the little d and look into to trying to do better than just being partisan. Okay, I personally believe the world and the country have been on a darker path for last 8 to 10 years. If there's an all-powerful God, what could be the positive results of this last decade? What do you think God was allowing to happen with all of this divisiveness, this division, this turmoil? Is it? I don't know. Sometimes I wonder, God, why did you allow this to happen? Why have you allowed it to get this divisive, where families are divided, sisters don't talk to each other, parents and children don't have the same relationship they used to have. They're afraid to speak, they're afraid to be honest. And I think it's a horrible, horrible problem, and I'm going, God, what could you possibly see as positive out of this? Why did you allow this to happen? Do any of you feel that way? Any of you, are any of you out there going, what possibly could God have seen good coming out of this? I kind of feel that way. What light could we focus on? What is some light that we could focus on that would help us? Some would argue that racism and misogyny aren't a real problem today, while others believe these problems have been more and more revealed. How could that uncovering be positive? If it's been revealed, how could that be positive? What can you and I do to bring more light to our communities, our politics, our workplaces, our churches, and our schools? Our schools and our churches. What could we do? What do you think? Well, that's what we'll talk about this Sunday at A Place to Talk. You say, Josh, you ask a bunch of questions in this video. You're not really helping me much. Well, this video is kind of helping people prepare for this conversation that we'll have this Sunday at A Place to Talk. My videos aren't the answers. A Place to Talk is very purposefully intent on making sure that we don't ever have one father, teacher, leader. Jesus said one time in our recorded red letters that he didn't think anyone on earth should be your father, your leader, or your teacher. And I think in a lot of religion today, we have people like pastors and popes and bishops and apostles that we call on and that we ask to lead our communities, and they take on the role of father, leader, teacher. They try to tell you what to do, they tell you what to think, they tell you how to behave, they tell you who to vote for. And I think personally Jesus was very clear that we shouldn't have those kind of pastor gurus in our life. Instead, we should function more as a community that comes together. We struggle, we challenge one another, we ask these questions and we discuss. Some people might say debate. And that's okay if that's what you want to call it, but that's what we do on Sundays at A Place to Talk. We come together, we talk about these questions, and we try to figure out how can we be more like love? How can we be more like grace? How can we be more kind? How can we be more compassionate? How can we be more positive to our communities? I hope you'll be a part this Sunday at A Place to Talk, April 19th, 10:30 a.m. See you then.